in the WWE, everything's timing, even wasting your life. So Smackdown happened. Post SummerSlam SmackDown episode, Becky Lynch did return and then shockingly defeat Bianca Belair to win the women's title. Naomi even made an appearance, literally giving her actual gimmick an afterthought after giving like what's gonna be her first match on WWE after a hiatus, and then literally Sonya Deville was like, "Oh yeah, sure, it was good." That was it. Took the second half hour to even reference that Brock Lesnar returned at SummerSlam, and then wasn't even featured for the rest of the show. A closing segment like that, like your former world champion looking bigger and badder than ever, facing off against the world champion, and then he barely gets featured. All there was just a sawed-off interview involving Paul Heyman and his relationship with Roman Reigns, and then nothing else. I just don't like it when you have a show, you have your world champion, and he has the bare minimum impact into the show to make the atmosphere feel different. Nothing feels different whenever you have a world champion. Ugh. So Becky Lynch was like, "Oh, I came back, and you know I had to take care of some issues. We're here in Little Rock, Arkansas, because Little Rock has nothing going for them other than their college football team. And literally, they were getting pops over with Big E. You're getting pops over with Becky Lynch over a small state that's not noticeable for pro wrestling. And it's just getting any pop it can be. While, like, you're only getting this is awesome chance for goddamn CM Punk. Bianca Belair came in, Carmella came in, Liv Morgan came in, Zelina Vega came in. Three women, like out of the four or five, are not getting over. I did want Liv Morgan to win. It was an instant 5-way after Bianca kept calling out Becky to get a title shot, and it turned into a 5-way. Nobody illustrated it. It was just these people are in the ring. You need to make a match all because they're in the ring. There's nothing orchestrated, even though you guys have two authority figures with as much charisma as I have subs. These guys suck, man. Like, I give we give a lot of rack to guys like John Laurinaitis. They do their job. They set their authority. They show their personality. They display what makes them different from one another. But they at least show that this is my show. I condense how I want the show to feel like, so I feel like my way gets more people to watch. That's what Vicky Guerrero does. That's what that's what Paul, that's what babyface GM Teddy Long does. Eric Bischoff does. John Laurinaitis. You know those guys captivating it because when they're there, it's their own show. It's their own format, and it's the way that they make it. If you had Sonya Deville and whoever that bald bitch is, the show would feel exactly the same. Why have authority figures if they're not going to illustrate their own style into the show? They're boring, bro. Either way, the 5-way happened. I think Carmella got eliminated first. Zelina Vega got eliminated second. Liv was actually doing pretty decent for herself. There's like a super kick. Everything was going. The match was just dragged. Like you have an instant 5-way with like 4 women in the roster that are obviously not shown to be any sort of threats. You consistently have them out there. Make sure that they're just never gonna win. And where's Toni Storm? Are we going to see another Shotzi and Tegan Nox match against Tamina and Natalia? I mean, I bet you can because nobody else in the women's division is going to get over it. There's not that much women on either brand that consist for a tag team division. Like, dude. So Bianca obviously wins and she gets a future shot against Becky Lynch. And it was an elimination 4-way. Then Paul Heyman gets shut out out of the Usos. He got locked out of the Tribal Chiefs locker room because they're confronting him, knowing that Brock was trying to come back for obvious reasons to dethrone Roman Reigns. So that's obviously the drama going into this. Wouldn't it be better to at least have Brock say something, or show up, or beat up the Usos, or something? And then we had Alpha Academy against Cesaro in this segment, where Cesaro just beat him up. That's about it. I forgot that this even happened. All I saw was an entrance of Cesaro, and he won a match. He wasn't even at the SummerSlam. Everybody's just forcing over Cesaro to get over, to no one's understanding. Why should Cesaro get over? The guy is dull. Like, there's nothing going over. The most he gets over is his moves, and that's okay. If they actually gave him a gimmick, I would actually be more forward with him. But Cesaro's just a strong Swiss dude that came from the Indies. He's just so boring, man. You can't get him over to win a world title for anything, even in a brand split. Ugh. And just knowing, like, people are still dead set for these upper mid-carders. Somehow they even took Pat McAfee. One of the positives about Friday Night SmackDown was Pat McAfee was actually a good commentator. Always had some enthusiasm. Was trying to get some of the commentary, the actual stars over. Getting over nicknames, calling over moves, interacting with some of the wrestlers, actually showing some personality. And they just push him back with Corey Graves and Michael Cole for like the umpteenth time, with Kevin Blowins on commentary with him for majority of the show. That was it. So it's either they're pushing over Pat McAfee to Raw, or they're just releasing him over the standard of something. Man, I don't get it. I don't get it. Just felt like another regular SmackDown, bro. Next up, we got Happy Corbin. So this is something that happened up and down already. People were already calling that they were about to make a Happy Corbin gimmick because he's down on his luck, and he's like, okay, we know what's gonna happen next. So Corbin came around just saying that he came up with 40-something bucks. He went to the casino. How come it didn't revolve this around SummerSlam? This could have been a semblance of entertainment to sidetrack all the matches going on. There was like 10 matches. Why can't you sidetrack with Corbin being like, I just lost my match and I only have 40-something dollars left. Oh, here's a casino. And then he keeps winning it big every time and acting like a giant douche. That would have been entertaining. Why didn't they want to segment actual entertainment other than R-Truth acting like just a dumb Negro? He's not even that funny, guys. There's times where he can be that funny, but it's like R-Truth is in doses. If R-Truth is oversaturated, he's not funny. He's just a bubbling idiot that can dance. Other than him saying the my bad shit and the golden truth garbage and all his 24/7 title reigns that don't get creative finishes anymore. Like, it wasn't even entertainment when he was even holding it. Drake Maverick was doing it because at least he had a goal. There was a purpose, and he was actually trying his hardest to win it, and it didn't feel like it was repetitive. It actually felt like there was a plot in most of this, and he was actually getting good screen time. Drake Maverick was more entertaining than R-Truth. Literally, I don't get it. And now we have Corbin, that is at least trying to make a gimmick over himself, calling over Big E, trying to buy out the Money in the Bank briefcase, ending it in a dismay and walking off. So, average segment, not really much to go off here. Big E just still doesn't look big time, even though how many times they've been teasing over. Like, I know that he's probably going to cash in on the pay-per-view because there's more high hopes for him and shit. Well, that's all I have for the segment, bro. I don't know what else you want from me. And then we had it's Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs is literally the savior of SmackDown. The guy actually got some charisma. He's entertaining. His catchphrases are over. He can talk. He looks good in the ring. He's built like a wrestler. The guy has stuff going for him. And he's relatively young, I think. Or just knowing that he has this much of an upside, carrying over a Japanese guy that people think they're going to get over, all because they see matches from him from a different promotion where it wasn't even drawing much. Honestly, I don't get the mentality of how they, wrestling fans thinks business is going to work. But he doing some power moves. There was a spinning heel kick. They kept with the forcing over the near fall. Boogs with the I forgot what it's called. He came with some kind of power slam and picked up the victory. Boogs and Nakamura are on top. I forgot that Nakamura was even an IC champion for a moment. But decent way to push over. The fans are totally into it. Love the entrance. I love how he always captivates the crowd, and he just always looks like he's having fun whenever he's on the entrance way. He's just these are the guys that you want to scope. These are the guys that you want to get over. Not Nakamura, not Kevin Owens, not Cesaro. Guys that are there to entertain and also go over to the ring. Dominic Mysterio faced off against Sami Zayn for some apparent reason. And at least it ain't one of the Usos again. This is a must-win match for some apparent reason. Dominic, you gotta win it for a family. Familia. Do it. Before I sound like I'm doing cigarettes again. Because I am. There was a counter over the 619 exploder suplex. A frog splash gets missed for a roll-up. Sami Zayn with an upset victory. Dominic gets totally upset and turns away over his father. I guess this is some development for Dominic. Do I feel like it's really gonna help with his character? Hell no. That guy needs like an acting class. He needs an acting class and a gym membership. I'm not saying that he's in poor shape. He's in good shape for a person. He's not in good shape for a wrestler. Like when Ray thought like, okay, you just need to do the literally Ray and that's it. Like no, he needs to look like the part. Ray, if you want him, he's like 22. He's like 22. And I'm not saying that you have to look like an Adonis 22, but you need to get yourself in reasonable shape to at least look like an athlete. Dominic just looks like he just came from playing Warzone and playing a bit of soccer. Bro, he's not in good wrestling shape, if you know what I mean. Like he just looks awful and he's just not a good actor. Just noticing like most of this lack of like expression or personality or his own voice. Dominic is just Dominic. He's dull. At least they're trying to actually move something, and they've been trying to foreshadow this. Next up, we had the Champion Celebration, where Finn Gaylord came back and interrupted the proceedings involving Paul Heyman in a special thing, defeating John Cena, all the Brock Lesnar, and you thought, oh, Brock Lesnar's going to come back. No, Finn Balor, because next month is a C pay-per-view. So we need something to sell up the pay-per-view with a former world champion, and our former world champion is more over with being a developmental champion. How about that? So just noticing like this is the type of mediocrity we could have gotten. Like, why not just push over Rollins to be heel after losing to Edge, or Edge gets his rematch? I like simple things like this to at least get this drama, or at least relate around Brock Lesnar. Thinks Rollins feuded with Brock Lesnar before. Like this is basic stuff. Why Finn Balor over the extent of him only beating Corbin, not even being at the pay per view? So it's obvious they don't treat Balor like he's an actual medial threat. And they're going to foreshadow Lesnar pushing for the title anyway. So it's obvious that whatever future pay-per-view they have entailed, they're not getting Balor over. So that's already something that you guys should have set in stone to begin with. This show was absolutely mediocre. And I understand I already have a notability to like, oh, you know, you guys think of positive reviews of 5 out of 10. I don't care. It's my opinion. This is DST review. This is not review WWE. This is DST reviews the WWE. So this is my opinion. And I feel like most of these shows suck. There hasn't been a good SmackDown since like 2009. If you're really assimilating any semblance of like that, this is an A show with none of the atmosphere changing. Becky, like they're probably gonna have the same couple of rematches with Ray facing off against Sami Zayn or something, and Kevin Owens probably gonna have some weirdo match, and probably the most entertaining stuff is whatever Corbin's gonna be doing or whatever Lucas is gonna be doing, and the women are just gonna be taken so seriously. Where is Toni Storm? Honestly, where's Toni Storm? You have a woman that looks like that. That woman looks like she can play a clear, like, Euro baby face. She's a good looking chick, has a big butt, cool personality. You can make her give a rocker tomboy gimmick and have her push for the title. At least be a future contender. Don't just force her with the belt all because she's there. Force her as a contender and let her drive her personality. You guys never want to develop characters. You just want to develop female wrestlers. That's it. It's dull. It's a dull development. You guys are not making character development. If you don't develop your character, what's the point of me seeing them get over if all I see of them is in developmental late? It's not a good idea. It never works out. You think I want to see prototype John Cena for 20 years? You're just giving a thought here. But that's just my opinion on the matter. Really bad episode of SmackDown. Rampage, I think I'll go over later. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch the review. There'll be more on the way. Thanks for watching. Also, have a bit of a secondary channel if anybody's going to be interested in more sports talk. I got Sidelines Productions with a future co-host that really never thought of his name yet, but we'll go over that as soon as possible. But subscribe to that. Thanks for watching. That's it for me.